So our packages are installed, and now let's just go ahead and set up a new script. I'm gonna call this start, and inside this script we're just gonna say noteman index. So when we call this start script, noteman is just gonna do its thing and restart our server. And now let's just go ahead and create our index.js. Inside the index.js, I'm just gonna get started and create our server. So let's just require the express library. We're also going to need a port, so in all caps, port is going to be equal to process.env.port, or if that's not available, 6500. And I'm gonna log a very basic statement to the terminal. So let's say server is running on HTTP localhost and pass in the port that we defined. Alright, now let's just create a very basic route to test our server. Gonna pass in the request and result, request and response objects. So res dot send, I'm gonna say hello world. So inside the terminal, I'm gonna say npm start, and it should start our server. Let's go ahead to this URL inside Chrome. As you can see, it prints out hello world. So our server is working just fine. And now let's just go ahead and get started with our database configuration and or Prisma stuff. So I'm gonna say npx Prisma init, and the flag is going to be --data source provider, and the provider is going to be MySQL. And the Prisma has done its thing, and we have an .env file and a Prisma folder. So inside the .env file we have a connection string, and so our database URL is equal to that. So we're going to have to modify it so it works on our machine. So I'm gonna say root instead of John Doe for the user, and change the password, and localhost and default port is also fine. And I'm not sure if we have the MyDB on our machine, so let's just open our terminal, and I'm gonna log into MySQL server using root and password. So I'm basically telling MySQL that I want to log in using these credentials. I'm gonna say show databases, and as you can see, MyDB is present, so we don't have to create it. And but before we leave this terminal, I just want to show you something. We can see the default port that MySQL is running on. It's always just 3306, but let's just say show global variables like port, and as you can see, this is the default port. So let's just exit this and close this terminal. Now inside the schema Prisma, I'm going to go ahead and create our model, which then Prisma is going to use to map and create our tables inside the database. So let's say model user is going to be, and the model is going to have a user ID, which is an integer, and it's going to be primary key of our table, and it's also gonna have a default value, which is an auto increment. So user ID is the primary key of our table. Then we're going to have a username, which is going to be a string, password, which is going to be a I'm sorry, I should not put this comma here. Password is going to be a string, and the age, which is going to be an integer. So After that, we're gonna say, let's just clear the terminal before doing anything. I'm gonna say npx prisma migrate, if I spell migrate correctly, migrate dev and dash dash name. So let's just say dev underscore one for the name. So what this is going to do is going to Prisma just gonna do its thing and map out a new table for us from these model that we have defined here. So let's just hit enter, and as you can see, it says your database is now in sync with your schema. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and right, actually let me just stop the video right here. I'm gonna see you in the next video and we can continue with creating our database. So I'll see you in the next video.